The chandeliers of Mar-a-Lago cast a golden glow over the long, elaborately decorated dining table where two of the most influential figures of the modern era sat across from each other. The air was thick with the scent of roasted meats and aged whiskey, the quiet clink of silverware against fine china punctuating the hushed, expectant murmurs of the staff stationed nearby. Outside, the Florida night stretched endlessly, the ocean whispering in the distance, as if bearing witness to a conversation that might alter the future of global finance. Elon Musk sat with his usual relaxed posture, a can of Diet Coke resting between his fingers. His suit, slightly wrinkled as if he had just come from an all-nighter at a Tesla factory, contrasted with the meticulously pressed ensemble of his host. Opposite him, Donald Trump leaned back in his chair, his signature red tie perfectly knotted, his expression a mix of amusement and calculation. They were two titans of industry and influence, each wielding power in ways that the world had yet to fully comprehend. The conversation had begun with broad strokes, trade policies, the post-pandemic economy, the shifting tides of Wall Street, but it had gradually narrowed, finding its inevitable focus on money itself. Musk, ever the futurist, had brought up decentralized finance, gesturing lazily with his drink as he outlined its growing dominance. Cryptocurrency, he explained, had already begun to reshape the way people thought about wealth. Bitcoin had survived its early skepticism and regulatory battles, Ethereum was proving itself with its smart contracts, even Dogecoin, a once joke asset, had taken on a life of its own, propelled by community enthusiasm and a few well-placed tweets. Trump listened with a practiced patience, his fingers tapping lightly against the polished table surface. He had never been one to dismiss money-making opportunities, but digital currency had always struck him as unpredictable, a world full of tech-savvy idealists who underestimated the value of tangible assets. Real estate, gold, cold hard cash, those were the pillars of financial security. Yet, he couldn't deny the numbers Musk was throwing around. Trillions in market cap. Billions traded daily. A new class of millionaires and billionaires rising, not from boardrooms, but from algorithmic trading and blockchain speculation. It was, at the very least, intriguing. Musk spoke with the ease of a man who saw the future before others could comprehend it. He painted a picture of a world where banks were obsolete, where transactions happened instantly across borders, free from the grip of outdated financial institutions. He described a system where financial power was decentralized, where even the smallest player could access the same economic tools as the wealthiest tycoons. He mentioned countries already considering Bitcoin as legal tender, major corporations holding crypto reserves, and the increasing push for digital independence. Trump smirked, his trademark confidence on full display. He had spent a lifetime navigating the highs and lows of the business world, surviving bankruptcies, outmaneuvering competitors, and reshaping his brand into something larger than life. He understood power, and he understood money. Musk's vision was grand, futuristic, but Trump knew that money wasn't just about numbers on a screen. Money was influence. It was trust. It was control. He spoke of his own journey, how he had built an empire in the real estate world, how he had turned his name into a global brand, how he had leveraged his business acumen to step into the most powerful office in the world. The art of making deals, he reminded his guest, wasn't just about innovation. It was about perception. People needed to believe in the value of something, and that belief needed to be carefully cultivated. The problem with cryptocurrency, he argued, was that too many people still saw it as a gamble rather than an investment. Musk countered with numbers. Bitcoin had outperformed traditional stocks in recent years. Entire industries were beginning to integrate blockchain technology. The financial elite were no longer ignoring it, they were quietly buying in. The decentralized revolution wasn't a theory anymore. It was happening. Trump was unconvinced. He had seen trends come and go, bubbles rise and burst. The dot-com crash, the housing market collapse, even the unpredictable swings of his own business ventures. But he wasn't dismissing Musk outright. There was something here, something bigger than just another speculative asset. If people believed in cryptocurrency, if they could be made to trust it, if it had the right branding, the right leadership, it could become something more than just a tech world phenomenon. The idea formed in the space between their words. It wasn't spoken outright, not yet. But it lingered in the air between them. A new kind of currency, one that wasn't just built on hype and code, but on something that neither Wall Street nor Silicon Valley had yet mastered. Influence. Authority. Spectacle. Musk took another sip of his Diet Coke, his gaze thoughtful, his mind already running calculations faster than any algorithm. Trump adjusted his tie, his instincts for a good deal sharpening like they always did when he sensed an opportunity. Neither of them said it directly, but they both knew the conversation was far from over. The conversation had shifted from the broad strokes of the economy to a more intense, ideological discussion. The plates had been cleared, and the flickering candlelight cast long shadows on the walls of Mar-a-Lago's grand dining room. Outside, the Florida breeze carried the distant murmur of the ocean, but inside, the air felt charged with something far more electrifying than politics, an unspoken challenge between two men who had made their careers defying expectations. Musk, leaning back slightly, traced his fingers along the rim of his Diet Coke can, his mind already miles ahead, as if running complex simulations of financial futures. His belief in decentralized finance was unwavering. Bitcoin, despite its volatility, had endured relentless skepticism, government crackdowns, and waves of institutional doubt, yet it had survived, even thrived. Dogecoin, a project that had started as a joke, had proven that the power of the masses was stronger than the most carefully orchestrated financial institutions. If people believed in something, it had value, whether traditional economists accepted it or not. Trump, ever the businessman, remained skeptical. He had built his empire on real estate, on assets people could see and touch. The idea of currency that existed purely in digital form, controlled by no one, made him uneasy. Control was everything in business. It was the difference between winning and losing, between empires that endured and those that crumbled. He had watched the financial system long enough to know that power didn't just shift hands, it was taken, and it was kept. Musk continued to press the case for Bitcoin's resilience. It was decentralized, immune to inflationary policies, and untouched by government manipulation. The people, not the institutions, controlled its fate. It was the closest thing to financial freedom that had ever existed. Yet, even he acknowledged its flaws: slow transaction speeds, high energy consumption, the ever-present threat of regulation looming over its future. Trump saw the weaknesses immediately. No government would ever fully embrace a currency it couldn't control. Bitcoin's rise had already triggered responses from regulators and central banks worldwide. Washington, Wall Street, and global financial institutions had too much at stake to allow a truly decentralized monetary system to take over. He saw crypto not as a revolution, but as an untamed beast that governments would inevitably attempt to leash. If the US was going to embrace digital currency, it needed to be one that worked in its favor. The discussion naturally pivoted toward central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Both men, despite their different perspectives on money, shared a deep mistrust of such systems. CBDCs, they agreed, were not about financial freedom, they were about control. A digital dollar issued by the government would allow regulators to track every transaction, freeze assets instantly, and enforce economic policies at an unprecedented level. It was the ultimate tool for centralized power. Musk, ever the disruptor, saw it as the antithesis of what cryptocurrency was meant to be. Governments had long controlled the flow of money, but the rise of blockchain technology had given individuals a way to escape that control. A state-run digital currency would be nothing more than the current financial system disguised as innovation. It wasn't decentralization, it was surveillance. Trump, despite his skepticism of crypto, found himself nodding at the thought. He had spent years in political warfare, understanding the mechanisms of government influence. A digital currency controlled by Washington wouldn't empower Americans, it would restrict them. Transactions could be monitored, spending behavior analyzed, financial privileges revoked at the touch of a button. Musk, with a slight grin, let the idea linger for a moment before offering a different solution. What if, instead of watching governments fumble their way into the digital age with clunky, bureaucratic currencies, the two of them did something different? Something unexpected. What if they made their own? Trump paused. The words hung in the air, heavy with possibility. Musk had suggested it lightly, playfully even, but the implications were immense. A currency that bore no allegiance to any nation, yet had the backing of two of the most powerful voices in business and politics. It could be bigger than Bitcoin, bigger than any government-backed alternative. It wouldn't just be a currency, it would be a statement. For the first time that evening, Trump didn't respond immediately. He was weighing the idea, not just as a businessman, but as a political strategist. He understood branding better than anyone, and he knew that Musk wasn't just throwing out an offhand remark. There was something calculated in his suggestion, something that had the potential to upend the financial world in a way that neither Washington nor Wall Street could predict. Musk took another sip of his Diet Coke, his eyes scanning Trump's expression. He could see the gears turning, the unspoken calculations being made. He didn't need an immediate answer. The idea had been planted. Trump finally leaned back, a thoughtful smirk forming. He had spent his life spotting opportunities, and this had the makings of something big. The room seemed quieter now, as if even the space itself was absorbing the weight of what had just been proposed. The future of money, the balance of economic power, the very concept of wealth, something was shifting, and they both knew it. What had begun as a debate about the future of finance had become something else entirely. Something with consequences neither of them could fully predict. The idea, initially tossed into the conversation as a playful remark, had quickly evolved into something far more serious. The possibility of launching their own cryptocurrency wasn't just an abstract concept anymore, it was a tantalizing challenge, a potential disruption to both the financial and political landscape. In typical fashion, Musk approached the thought with relentless curiosity, already envisioning the technical framework, while Trump, ever the showman, saw the branding potential. Between them, the groundwork for something revolutionary was forming. Musk, with his deep understanding of blockchain technology and disruptive innovation, wanted efficiency, fast transactions, minimal energy consumption, and a global reach beyond anything traditional banking could offer. He imagined a currency that wasn't bogged down by Bitcoin's slow transaction speeds or Ethereum's fluctuating gas fees. It would be scalable, practical, and, most importantly, powered by the future. Trump, meanwhile, was fixated on optics. Currency had always been about perception, about trust in the system backing it. Governments had historically controlled money through sheer authority, but here was a chance to create a new kind of financial empire, one built not on regulations and central banks, but on influence and loyalty. A currency backed by the most powerful names in business and politics, what could be bigger than that? If people could put their faith in Bitcoin, a faceless creation born out of an anonymous white paper, how much stronger would their faith be in something backed by actual, tangible success? Musk's mind raced through the logistics. Unlike Bitcoin's mining process, which required enormous energy consumption, their currency could take an entirely new approach. His Tesla solar farms could serve as the backbone of its infrastructure, ensuring a greener, more sustainable method of minting the coin. Imagine, he thought, a digital currency that wasn't just revolutionary in its purpose but also in its environmental impact. Trump, seated across from him, saw an entirely different kind of power in the idea. This wasn't just a financial product, it was a movement. It would be a statement against traditional financial elites, a rejection of Washington's control over money, and a direct challenge to Wall Street's old ways. This was something that could be marketed as the people's coin, a currency that represented strength, prosperity, and above all, victory. The branding of it practically wrote itself. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, which struggled for mainstream recognition, this one would enter the world with a built-in global audience. It would be backed by figures whose names carried immense weight. It would have its own cultural force, its own mythology, its own gravitational pull. There had never been a cryptocurrency that embodied both tech and political influence, and the sheer scale of it was thrilling. Between them, the vision took shape. The coin, still unnamed, would be mined through Tesla's renewable energy sources, ensuring an efficient and eco-friendly process. It would be backed not just by hype, but by real assets, ensuring a stability that other cryptocurrencies lacked. And it wouldn't just be a digital currency, it would be a statement, a rallying point for those disillusioned by traditional financial institutions. Musk, as always, moved fast. He saw no reason to wait. Without so much as a word, he reached for his phone and typed out a cryptic tweet, short, punchy, and loaded with just enough ambiguity to send the financial world into a frenzy. Crypto is about to get YUGE. No explanation. No follow-up. Just enough to set off speculation across every financial news outlet, social media thread, and investment forum within minutes. The effect was immediate. Within moments of the tweet going live, the internet was ablaze with speculation. Crypto enthusiasts scrambled to decode its meaning. Was Musk teasing an upgrade to Dogecoin? A new Bitcoin investment? A joke? Every corner of Twitter, Reddit, and Telegram exploded into theories. The words YUGE and the combination of rocket and fire emojis made it impossible to ignore the connection to Trump's unmistakable style. The idea that the two of them were up to something became the dominant narrative almost instantly. Major investors took notice. Financial analysts debated the meaning of the tweet on live television. Stock markets twitched in response, as they always did when Musk so much as breathed about cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, Trump's base, loyal, reactive, and always eager for a bold new movement, began generating its own excitement. They didn't know what it was yet, but they already wanted in. In a matter of hours, a new kind of financial phenomenon was brewing. Neither Musk nor Trump had officially announced anything, yet the world was already talking about it as if it were inevitable. In Mar-a-Lago's grand dining hall, the two men sat in satisfaction. They hadn't just created a new cryptocurrency yet, but they had done something just as powerful. They had created hype. And in the world of money, hype was worth more than gold. Musk's cryptic tweet sent shockwaves through the financial world. At first, it was dismissed as another one of his playful teases, the kind that sent Twitter into a frenzy but eventually led to nothing. But this time, something was different. The wording, the timing, the unmistakable hint of Trump's influence, something about it felt bigger. Within minutes, speculation ignited like a wildfire across social media. Crypto forums exploded with theories. Some claimed Musk was about to announce a major investment in Bitcoin. Others speculated that Dogecoin was about to receive the biggest endorsement in its history. A few more radical voices insisted this was the beginning of a new financial order, one led not by governments, but by visionaries who had already defied the establishment. Bitcoin prices surged, climbing by thousands in mere hours. Dogecoin, which had long been tethered to Musk's influence, skyrocketed even more dramatically. Trading volumes spiked as amateur investors and seasoned whales alike scrambled to reposition themselves before the big reveal that many believed was imminent. Meanwhile, traditional bankers and financial institutions were thrown into a state of controlled panic. If there was one thing the establishment hated, it was uncertainty. Musk had proven time and time again that his influence over markets was unparalleled. With a single tweet, he had sent Tesla's stock soaring, torpedoed entire investment strategies, and turned Dogecoin from a joke into a multi-billion-dollar phenomenon. Now, with Trump's name lingering between the lines, the stakes felt even higher. Banking executives rushed to assess the potential fallout. Wall Street analysts scoured every available piece of information, desperate to uncover what was really happening behind the scenes. CNBC and Bloomberg filled their airwaves with urgent speculation, bringing in experts to debate whether Musk was preparing to launch a new cryptocurrency or if this was all just another elaborate marketing stunt. But in political circles, the reaction was even more intense. Trump's closest advisors, many of whom had spent years managing his public image, were deeply unsettled by the idea that he might be aligning himself with a decentralized financial movement. There were legal risks, regulatory complications, and the ever-present threat of government intervention. Some advisors warned him against associating too closely with crypto, reminding him that Washington's financial watchdogs were already cracking down on digital currencies. Trump, however, had never been one to shy away from controversy. He had built his entire career on disruption, on rewriting the rules as he saw fit. He thrived in chaos, and this was the kind of chaos that put him back at the center of global attention. The more resistance he faced, the more determined he became. Musk, ever the strategist, knew how to keep the momentum going. He didn't need to confirm anything outright. Instead, he did what he did best: he added fuel to the fire. Without warning, he dropped a second bombshell on the internet, a new SpaceX-themed NFT collection. The announcement sent shockwaves through the crypto space. The collection featured rare digital assets tied to SpaceX's most iconic missions, NFTs of the Falcon Heavy's historic launch, artwork depicting Mars colonization, and exclusive behind-the-scenes moments from the company's journey. Each NFT came with perks, virtual meetings with Musk, invitations to SpaceX events, and even a chance to witness a live rocket launch from an exclusive VIP section. The crypto community erupted. While the NFTs were separate from the rumored cryptocurrency, the connection was impossible to ignore. People began to speculate that the NFT drop was just the beginning, that Musk was laying the groundwork for something even bigger. Some theorized that the NFTs would have future utility in the upcoming project. Others believed they were a test run, a way to gauge interest before making a full-scale financial move. The frenzy intensified. Crypto influencers poured gasoline on the fire, posting elaborate theories connecting Musk's NFT drop to his mysterious tweet. YouTubers dissected every detail, financial analysts debated the implications, and Telegram groups became battlegrounds for speculation. Some claimed this was a prelude to the Musk-Trump coin, while others insisted it was merely a distraction. Meanwhile, major financial institutions scrambled to contain the chaos. The Federal Reserve issued a vague statement about the risks of unregulated digital assets, an obvious attempt to dissuade the market from blindly following the hype. The SEC began analyzing Musk's tweets, considering whether they warranted further investigation. Major investment firms warned their clients to remain cautious, while behind closed doors, many of them were quietly increasing their own exposure to crypto assets, just in case. As the dust settled, one thing was clear: Musk and Trump had accomplished exactly what they wanted. They had taken control of the conversation. The financial world was no longer talking about government policy or interest rates. They weren't focused on inflation reports or economic forecasts. Instead, they were fixated on two men and the possibility of a new financial order. And that was just the beginning. The energy inside the packed convention hall was electric. Thousands of attendees filled every seat, the crowd buzzing with anticipation. The world's largest tech conference had already seen its fair share of major announcements: AI breakthroughs, advancements in quantum computing, revolutionary energy solutions, but none had generated as much hype as what was about to happen next. The sheer spectacle of it all had drawn global media attention, and millions were watching the live stream, waiting for a moment that felt more like a grand reveal than a keynote speech. The screen behind the stage flickered with a dramatic intro, the graphics pulsating with futuristic designs. Then, with a single transition, two unmistakable silhouettes appeared on stage, walking side by side. The crowd erupted in cheers, some in shock, others in admiration. Few could have predicted this moment: Elon Musk and Donald Trump standing together under the same spotlight, commanding the same stage. The standing ovation lasted longer than expected. Camera flashes erupted like a synchronized light show. Reporters scrambled for the best angles. Social media feeds exploded with instant reactions. The hashtag MTC, which no one fully understood yet, began trending worldwide before a single word had been spoken. For weeks, speculation had been at an all-time high. Musk's cryptic tweet, the SpaceX NFT drop, the volatile movement in Bitcoin and Dogecoin, and Trump's refusal to deny the rumors had fueled a narrative that neither man had confirmed nor denied. Were they truly about to launch their own cryptocurrency? Or was this all an elaborate game, a way to toy with the financial world just to prove they could? The two men took their places at the center of the stage, pausing for effect as the noise settled. They didn't need to speak immediately. The mystery was the real power here, and they knew how to wield it. Musk exuded his usual air of nonchalance, his expression unreadable. His ability to command attention with the simplest of gestures was on full display. Trump, in contrast, soaked in the moment, his presence dominating the room, his posture radiating confidence. Together, they were an enigma, two of the most unpredictable figures of the modern era, now seemingly aligned for a purpose that no one could yet define. They began to speak in broad strokes, about technology, about finance, about the shifting nature of global power. They touched on the failures of outdated systems, the inefficiencies of traditional banking, the growing frustration with government oversight in financial markets. They didn't say it outright, but the message was clear, something was broken, and they intended to fix it. The audience hung on every word. Investors in the room, seasoned professionals who had weathered countless financial cycles, shifted uneasily in their seats. Was this the beginning of a genuine financial revolution, or a perfectly orchestrated piece of theater designed to shake the markets? The stakes felt impossibly high. Then, just as the presentation seemed to be winding down, the lights dimmed slightly, and the massive screen behind them lit up with a single image, a QR code. It was stark, minimalist, almost confrontational in its simplicity. No explanation. No text. Just a code, glowing against a deep black background. For a brief moment, silence filled the room, as if the audience was processing what they were seeing. Then, a ripple of movement, phones shot up in the air, cameras pointed at the screen, and thousands of devices scanned the code simultaneously. The response was instant. The QR code led to a sleek, enigmatic website. At the top, bold white letters spelled out. MTC is coming. The future is now. No additional details. No roadmap. No confirmation of what MTC even stood for. Just a single countdown timer, slowly ticking down. The crowd erupted once more, this time with an energy that bordered on hysteria. Some cheered, others whispered frantically to each other, analyzing every possible meaning. Was this the Musk-Trump coin? Was this an actual cryptocurrency launch? Or was it something even bigger? On social media, chaos erupted. Financial analysts, tech enthusiasts, political commentators, everyone scrambled to piece together the puzzle. Some dismissed it as a PR stunt. Others were convinced they had just witnessed the beginning of the most disruptive financial project in history. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ethereum all saw immediate spikes in trading volume. Speculators flooded crypto exchanges, unsure whether to buy, sell, or hold. Wall Street analysts went into overdrive, their screens flashing with volatile market movements as investors tried to predict what would come next. Governments and regulatory agencies took notice. The SEC, the Federal Reserve, and international financial bodies held emergency discussions, uncertain about whether this was a joke or a potential economic earthquake. Behind closed doors, world leaders exchanged urgent phone calls, asking the same question: had two of the most influential figures on the planet just declared war on traditional finance? Meanwhile, back at the tech conference, Musk and Trump stood on stage, their work done. They had said almost nothing definitive. They had made no promises. They had confirmed nothing. And yet, they had once again seized control of the global conversation. As they walked off the stage, the final image on the screen remained. MTC is coming. The future is now. To be continued. And just like that, the world was left guessing. Was this the dawn of a financial revolution? Or the greatest PR stunt in history? No one knew for sure. But one thing was certain, everyone was paying attention.